Alrighty, guys, welcome back to another podcast, I Coach Nutrition Radio, hosted by yours truly, Coach Justin. I'm excited to dive into yet another episode as we're approaching, or actually we've passed the 200 mark here. Over 200 podcast episodes I've done now since I started the podcast over 3 years ago. And so for those of you that have been listening since the very beginning, I appreciate you. I wouldn't still be doing these episodes. I wouldn't still be doing this podcast if it wasn't for you. So thank you for your support. Thank you for asking questions. Thank you for engaging in the podcast. Thank you for giving me different podcast ideas. I appreciate you more than you'll ever know. You are a big part of the I Coach Nutrition community, and you help to inspire me to continue to do what I do. It's literally been 4 years since I started I Coach Nutrition. I've been now in the field for over 10 years. And so it's been a long time. There's been ups and there's been downs, there's been highs, there's been lows, but at the end of the day, it's all worth it. And this has been a very rewarding journey. And I hope to be able to continue it. I hope to be able to continue to inspire others to live their best life. I hope that I can continue to inspire you listening and watching to make health a priority in your life. I think it's so easy, especially in 2022 in this day and age that we live in, to make other things the priority, right? To put our health on the back burner, right? And say, I just don't have time for this right now. I got, the family pulling at me. I've got work pulling at me. I just don't have time to prioritize me right now in terms of my health, right? And trying to eat healthy and work out and do all these things here. So, I realized a long time ago, and I'm continually reminded of it every single day, that my health is my greatest asset, right? And it's one of these things that you can put off and you can put off and you can put off, but one day it's kind of too late. Or one day you feel like you're so far gone that it just is what it is, and there's just nothing you can do about it. So I was talking to a client here recently, and that is what inspired this podcast here that I'm about to dive into, which is why focusing on the pebbles and the sand when it comes to living a healthy lifestyle instead of the big rocks can prevent you from reaching your goals. And what I mean by that is, if you've listened, right, I've talked about the mason jar example before many times, which is, there's this mason jar, right, when it comes to living a healthy lifestyle. And there's a lot of components that can go into it. But if we break it down in terms of what are the big rocks, what are the things that actually matter, those things are going to be defined as sleep, nutrition, exercise, hydration, and stress management, right? And if I was to add a sixth, it would be personal development. Okay. And so if you think about those are the things that matter most, the other things are going to be the pebbles and the sand, right, that fill up the rest of that mason jar, right? And so I had a client here actually this morning who they brought up, they said, hey, I think I really need to just cut out sweets completely, right? I think that's just something that I just need to cut out completely, sweets and junk food, right? And, remind you that they weren't focusing on the big rocks consistently in this specific example here, right? And so I had a conversation with them and I said, hey, look, you're getting distracted. You're letting the pebbles and sand distract you from what really matters, right? What are the things that really matter in terms of the big rocks, right? There's no point in getting distracted by the pebbles in the sand. There's no point in getting distracted by what diet should I do, what supplement should I take, what workout program should I do, which one of these is the best, which one of these is the best, blah, 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 blah. There's no point in getting caught up in the nuances of living a healthy lifestyle, right? In terms of the pebbles in the sand, if you're not prioritizing the big rocks, right? If you are not prioritizing your sleep and your nutrition and your exercise and your hydration and your stress management, right, and doing that on a very consistent basis and working to become the best version of yourself and get a little bit better each and every day. If you're not doing that, then there's no point in getting caught up and focusing on these other little things that just don't matter as much. Right. I had another client here recently. They brought up nutrient timing. They said my meals, my nutrient timing just isn't dialed in. I need to work on nutrient timing. And this is somebody that like wasn't even tracking their food consistently. They weren't even tracking their habits consistently. They weren't even doing like the food picture log consistently. They weren't doing, there was a lot of things that they weren't doing consistently, but yet they were caught up on things that really didn't even matter that much. Right. So if you're listening to this, if you're watching this, I want to challenge you with something. Don't get caught up in the things that don't really matter all that much. Right. If you want to kind of nerd out, if you want to take it to the next level, if you want to be able to kind of progress and focus on more of these, higher level things, then that's fine. But you need to make sure that you're prioritizing the big rocks first. Right. You've got to make sure that you're doing the things that matter most consistently, the majority of the time. Because if you're not doing that, then all of these other things that don't make as much of an impact aren't going to really move the needle, right? You've got to prioritize, especially if you only have so much time and energy. You need to make sure that you're focusing on the things that are going to give you the biggest return for your time and energy. What are the things that are going to make the most impact, right? So I want you to take a second here. I want you to take a step out, right? To get this 10,000 foot view of your life and ask yourself, when it comes to living a healthy lifestyle, if you're struggling with your weight, right? Because most of the clients I work with, that's the goal. It's weight loss. Okay. It's learning how to live a healthy lifestyle in a sustainable way. Right. So if you think about something that you're doing right now, a goal that you're working towards, or, a weight loss goal that you're working towards, or trying to break the cycle of either being on a diet or not being on a diet, or living a healthy lifestyle or not living a healthy lifestyle, and just wanting to, really get into a consistent routine, something that's actually sustainable, something that's going to actually help you to feel your best and look your best and perform your best. If that's the goal, then you've got to start asking yourself, am I prioritizing the big rocks? Am I sleeping at least 7 hours a night, preferably 7 to 9 hours per night? Right? Because if you're not doing that, sleep's the most important of them all. If you're not prioritizing your sleep, you need to start there. Right? Especially if you're somebody getting 4, 5, 6 hours of sleep. If that's a problem. Okay, that's going to affect all the other areas of your life. From a nutrition standpoint, if you're not prioritizing your nutrition, meaning that you're not grocery shopping and cooking the majority of your own food, right? If you're not prioritizing getting in vegetables or fruits or a combination of both at the majority of the meals that you eat, if you're not getting in a protein source at the majority of the meals that you're eating, right? You've heard me talk about the iCoach plate. If you're not building out iCoach plates at the majority of the meals that you're eating, right? If you have no awareness around your calorie intake, the quantity of your daily nutritional intake, if you've never tracked your food on MyFitnessPal before, or Chronometer, or any of these apps to start learning how many calories you're consuming on a daily basis, got to be doing that. Okay. From an exercise standpoint, if you're not exercising at all, you got to start. Right. It's not about waiting for the perfect time. It's not about finding the perfect program. It's not about having the equipment or not having the equipment. It's about just starting. Okay. With the hydration, if you're over here drinking way too much alcohol or way too much caffeine or not ever prioritizing your water intake, you've got to prioritize these simple basic habits. With stress management, if you're stressed out of your mind and you're not doing anything to combat it, that's positive. You got to start incorporating some of these activities that can help, right, to manage your stress. So the big takeaway here is this, is don't let yourself fail, right? Or don't derail yourself or prevent yourself from being able to accomplish your goals by getting distracted and discouraged and off path by focusing on the pebbles in the sand, instead of putting all of your time and energy into the big rocks. I know that you've heard that sleep is important. I know that you've heard that nutrition is important and exercise is important and hydration is important and stress management is important. I know that you've heard these things, but until you're actually tracking these things and doing these things consistently, not just for a day or for a week or for a month, right? But for 3 months, for 6 months, for 9 months, for a year, for 3 years, for 5 years, for 10 years, for the rest of your life, then don't expect to be able to get the results that you're looking for. Don't expect to be able to live a healthy lifestyle. Living a healthy lifestyle is not hard, right? But it takes work, especially if you've never done it before, especially if we're combating 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Okay. So with every client that I work with, whether you're a client or not, you being able to accomplish your goal, whether it's weight loss or whatever it is, you being able to live a healthy, sustainable lifestyle, right? There's not that much that has to happen from going from point A to point B, from working from who you are today to the person that you want to become. But nobody's going to do it for you. This stuff is hard, right? It's easy when I say it, the information is easy, but the application is hard. And most of the time, we can't just do it on our own. Most of the time, especially in the beginning, in order to bridge the gap from information to application, you need accountability. Well, how do you get accountability? You get accountability through working with a coach. You get accountability through using these different tracking tools. But believe it or not, I actually have clients who sit here and they pay me, right? They pay to work with me one-on-one, and yet they still don't use the tracking tools. So just because you hire a coach, just because you paid for a coach, they're not going to solve all your problems for you. Okay. You've got to understand that when you work with a coach, it's a working relationship, no different than any other relationship there that you have in life. You can't just pay to get results. You're not just paying for a magic pill. You're not just paying for a surgery. Okay. You're paying to play the game, right? To take all of the information that's out there, to filter out the BS, to create something that's individualized to you and your lifestyle, and then to be held accountable, right, to accomplishing the goal that you came to your coach in the first place to accomplish, and to get help in navigating through the day-to-day and the week-to-week and the month-to-month and the year-to-year and all the different scenarios and all the ups and downs and all the challenges and adversity that you're going to have to overcome in order to accomplish your goal. Okay. So I'll leave you with this. Don't let the pebbles in the sand of the mason jar distract you from prioritizing and focusing and being consistent with the things that matter most, being those big rocks. All right. Cool. All right, guys. Hope y'all have an amazing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whenever I'm posting this here. Thank you again for listening. Thank you again for supporting iCoach, being a part of this community. I appreciate y'all. I want you to know that when I get on a little bit of a rant here, I'm talking with you, right? I'm here to support you. It's never me talking at you. I'm not trying to be negative at all. If I come out that way, I apologize, but this is all meant to be positive. I do all of this content, all this social media content for free in order to help you and inspire you and encourage you. But it's not fancy schmancy. It's not anything that's like crazy mind-blowing stuff. The reality of it is this stuff is very simple in theory, but execution is the hard part. Staying consistent for the rest of your life. That's what's hard. Okay. So reflect on that, think on that. If you want to make living a healthy lifestyle a priority, right? If that's something that's important to you, right? Let's have a conversation. Let's chat. Let's see if I can help you. Let's see if I can answer questions for you. Who knows? Maybe we'll end up working together one day, but that's not necessarily my end goal with this. I'm here to help as many people in this world as I possibly can. And along the way, obviously I will work with clients one-on-one who need it. And for everybody else, hopefully I just provide a community and a platform of education that is reliable and that people can trust. So, all right, that's all I got. Till next time.